Imagine waking up on a chilly Roman morning. The air smells faintly of ash from last night's brazier. Your bed is hard. Simple, perhaps a wooden frame with straw, or just a woven mat. The window lets in only a gray light. Outside, the day has already begun. Vendors shouting in the distance, wheels creaking over cobblestone. You pull on your tunic worn, maybe a little damp from yesterday's sweat, and head out into the street. The bathhouse will be open soon. If you're lucky, the water will still be warm. The Roman bathhouse was a central part of daily life for rich and poor alike. To bathe was to socialize, to exercise, to conduct business, and occasionally, to gossip. For many, it was the only access to any sort of hygiene or warmth during the cold months. But let's be clear, this was no private spa. It was crowded. It was communal. You pay your small fee, if one is charged, and step into the first chamber. The appetite. There are no lockers. You leave your clothing in a small cubby or on a bench. If you're fortunate, you have a slave or servant to watch over your belongings. If not, you glance over your shoulder often. Theft is not uncommon. From here, the journey begins. You move into the tepidarium, the warm room. The air is thick and heavy with heat. The walls swept with condensation. You sweat too, almost immediately. The heat is not dry, but humid, a strange, damp warmth that sticks to your skin. You sit on a bench stone, still slick from the last bather. Around you, others are already lounging. They speak in low voices, discussing politics, food, or nothing at all. Some are dozing. The heat begins to loosen your joints, but you're not here to relax. Not yet. Next is the caldarium, the hot room. Much hotter, steaming, almost suffocating. The floors may be heated from below, through a system of Hippocos' impressive feat of Roman engineering. But the air is smoky. The heat is overwhelming. Here, you begin to clean yourself. There is no soap. Instead, you slather your skin in oil, if you can afford it. Scented, if you're wealthy. Then comes the stridular curved metal scraper. It's dragged across your skin, peeling away sweat, oil, and dirt in a single unpleasant mixture. This is handed off to a servant. Your skin may sting. Small cuts are common. Your pores are open. Your skin flushed. You are clean, in a Roman sense. And yet, you may wonder, how clean is this place? Really, the water in the baths is communal. There are no filters. Bodies go in and out. Some are ill. Some carry lice. Some have open wounds. The scent of the baths is complicated, partly herbal, partly human. And yet, this is civilization. Next, you may move to the frigidarium, the cold plunge. A small pool of icy water. The shock to your body is intense. Your skin tightens. Your heart races. Some skip it. Others insist it's essential. You spend time drying off using towels that may or may not be fresh. Perhaps you drink a little wine. Chat with a friend. Get your hair trimmed by a bathhouse barber, using a razor with no You may even hear poetry, or see a local philosopher giving a lecture. It is all normal. It is all part of life. But to modern eyes and habits, it is a little much. The noise, the lack of privacy, the vague sanitation, the ever-present closeness of other bodies, the sweat, the oil, the heat. This is not luxury. This is maintenance. And you do this day after day. It is the rhythm of your life. A small, strange pause between labor and sleep. Eventually, you emerge dry, lightly perfumed, and slightly dizzy from the heat. You return to the dust and chaos of the Roman street, blinking against the sun. That was your bath. That was your moment of care. And tomorrow, you'll do it again. We'll now turn from the hot, echoing chambers of the bath to the cold corridors of the palace. Let us now walk through the twisted life of a man who once ruled it all. A ruler whose reign was marked not by stability or justice, but by strange proclamations, divine claims, and fear. You are no longer a common Roman citizen. Now, you are a quiet observer in the marbled corridors of power. The air is cooler here. The noise of the streets, the heat of the bathhouse, both are gone. In their place, silence, tension, whispers that carry more weight than shouts. The man at the center of this silence is Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus Germanicus. But to most, he is known by a childhood nickname, Caligula, meaning little boots. A name he would come to hate. His reign began with such hope. He was young, charismatic, a member of the beloved Julian family. For a brief moment, Rome exhaled. After years of political tension, war, and the chilling grip of Tiberius, there was light again. But soon, the whispers began. Imagine yourself seated in a quiet corner of the Senate, watching. The young emperor strides in, not with the aged composure of a statesman, but with the theatrical air of someone who believes himself chosen, perhaps more than chosen. At first, it is small things. His lavish spending, his taste for games and spectacles, his late-night appearances in disguise among the city's common folk. Then he falls ill, severely. For weeks, Rome waits, and when he recovers, something has changed. He grows erratic. You begin to hear rumors that he converses with the moon, that he speaks of himself as a living god, that he has declared his horse in a message to the Senate. You are irrelevant. Even this beast can replace you. He begins constructing temples to himself, statues, a golden bridge from his palace to the temple of Jupiter, so he can walk above the people, above the gods. At banquets, his moods shift like desert winds. One moment charming, the next violent. A guest's fate might hang on a facial expression, a pause, a misstep. He watches, and he remembers, no one is safe. Not nobles, not soldiers, not even his own family. Executions become routine, often without trial. The sound of sandals in the corridor at night becomes a feared omen. But this is not madness in the way we might imagine. It is deliberate, calculated. There is a cruel intelligence behind it. Some historians now believe Caligula's behavior was not entirely unhinged, but a brutal performance of power. An emperor reminding Rome that he ruled by divine rattan, by fear. Still, the empire begins to strain. His building projects bleed the treasury, the provinces grumble, and behind gilded doors, the knives begin to gather. Eventually, the inevitable comes. Not on a battlefield, but in a hallway. In January of 41, members of the Praetorian Guard, his own protector, strike him down. Swiftly, decisively. His body is left in the street, unclaimed. The Senate breathes again, but the scars he left behind on the city, on the people, on the empire's image of itself will linger. And what of the man himself? Did he truly believe he was a god? Or did he simply know that in Rome, power was the closest thing to divinity a man could grasp? Whatever the truth, he has faded now, a shadow in history. His temples are gone, his bridge to Jupiter crumbled. But for a time, his voice echoed through marble halls. His sandals rang out across golden floors, and all of Rome listened. As we leave Caligula behind, let us turn now to a different story, less about power and more about silence, about stone, about ash, about a moment frozen in time. Let's travel next to the quiet city of Pompeii. It begins like any other morning. You rise with the sun. The air is warm, dry. Somewhere in the distance, you hear the faint ringing of a blacksmith's hammer and the cooing of doves along the rooftops. Vendors are setting up their stalls in the forum. Bread is baking. Children are running through the streets, laughing. You are in Pompeii, a prosperous town nestled in the shadow of a mountain, Vesuvius. Quiet, green with vineyards, a familiar presence, steady. There is no reason to suspect that anything is wrong. Your home is modest, but comfortable. The walls are painted with scenes from myth gods and lovers, banquets and beasts. The floor beneath your feet is patterned with tiny mosaics. You'd pass through your atrium, past a small shrine to your household gods. The fountain gurgles faintly. Outside, the streets are narrow and paved. Men in tunics walk with baskets. Women lean from windows. The scent of olive oil, salted fish, and drying herbs lingers in the warm air. Above it all, the mountain looms. You do not know that this day will be your last. It begins quietly. A deep, distant rumble. Birds startled from the trees. A strange vibration in the ground. Then blackness. A pillar of ash rising miles into the sky. You do not know what it means. No one does. There is no word for volcano in Latin. The air changes, gritty, thick, hot, but in an unfamiliar way. You try to gather your things, what little you can carry. Others are doing the same. Some are fleeing toward the coast. Others stay, unsure. Ash begins to fall. At first, like snow. Then, heavier, faster. The sky darkens to gray, too brown, too black. Minutes feel like hours. The ground quakes again. Roofs collapse. Fires begin in the distance. A deep roar like thunder, but it does not end. Eventually, the surge comes. A wave of superheated gas, rock, an ash traveler faster than any man can run. It envelops the city in silence. And then, nothing. For nearly 1,700 years, Pompeii sleeps beneath a blanket of hardened ash, forgotten. Until one day, in the 18th century, a farmer digging a well strikes something unexpected: stone, then frescoes, then bodies, frozen mid-breath. Archaeologists uncover streets still marked with cart ruts, shops with amphorae still standing, loaves of bread still resting in ovens, graffiti on the walls, jokes, insults, love notes, and then the forms. Bud is encased in ash, a child curled against a wall, a man shielding his face, a dog still chained near a doorway. But this is not a scene of horror. It is quiet now, still, like a photograph from another world, a moment preserved. Pompeii offers something no other site can: the texture of ancient life, not just its grandeur, but its ordinary rhythm, its messiness, its beauty, its fear. We learn what foods they ate: honey cakes, dates, lentils, what names they gave their children, what gods they whispered to, what secrets they scratched on public walls. It is, in a way, the truest mirror we have to that world, not the world of emperors and senators, but of bakers, merchants, lovers, thieves. And so, as you imagine walking Pompeii streets, know that every step has been walked before, every stone once echoed with life. The city sleeps again now, beneath glass and scaffolding, touched by time, preserved by tragedy, but it speaks in colors, shapes, words, in silence. And now, we leave the ash behind and return to the realm of the living. For our final journey tonight, let's step into a villa on the hills above Rome. A world of wine and philosophy, of silk and slaves, of marble courtyards and quiet gardens. Imagine you are reclining, not seated. Reclining, your body is gently propped on embroidered cushions. Your sandals have been removed, and cool marble lies beneath your elbow. It is late afternoon, and golden light filters through delicate silk curtains. Outside, the courtyard garden rustles with the breeze. A small fountain murmurs somewhere nearby. You are the guest of a wealthy Roman patron. This is not your first visit, but you still feel the weight of the occasion. Every object here, every column, sculpture, and delicate bronze lamp speaks, not only of wealth, but of taste, of education, of power. To be invited here is a sign of favor. To be seen here, a mark of status. The villa stretches wide across the hillside. Beyond it, you glimpse the valley below, dotted with cypress trees and the low hum of the city in the distance. Here, in this insulated world, the chaos of Rome is far away. Your host is a senator, wealthy, educated, and deeply aware of his role in the social machinery of the empire. He greets you in a flowing white toga, fastened with a crimson stripe. His hands are perfumed, his voice calm and deliberate. The evening begins, not with food, but with talk. You are led into the library, walls lined with scrolls, shelves of Cicero, Virgil, Aristotle. Conversation flows gently. Politics, poetry, the weather, the condition of the roads. A visiting philosopher from Greece is asked to recite a passage. A young student offers a witty epigram. There is laughter, but never rudeness. Everything here is controlled. Then, the cena, the dinner. It is not one meal, but a procession of experiences. Slaves, silent and swift, bring in the first course. Olives, seasoned cheeses, spiced eggs, small fish, wrapped in fig leaves. You eat delicately, using your fingers. A servant offers you a basin of water and a linen cloth for cleansing. Next comes the main course, perhaps roast pheasant, or a delicately stewed dormouse. Considered a delicacy, a fine garum sauce, fermented and rich, is drizzled over lentils. You sip a chilled white wine from a silver cup. It is diluted with water. Only barbarians drink it pure. The mood is gentle. You listen more than you speak. This is a performance as much as a meal. Around you, guests debate Homer and Horace. One man makes a passing joke about the emperor. Everyone pauses, then smiles. You learn to speak in a way that reveals your knowledge, but not too much. Modesty here is a kind of currency. After the meal, fruit is served: dates, figs, pomegranate seeds, glistening in honey, sweetened. A musician enters, a low, humming lyre. A girl dances, slow and hypnotic. Lamps are lit. Their glow reflects on the mosaics, the wine, the faces of the reclining guests. Time slips. Conversation becomes hazier. Someone quotes a line of Ovid. Someone else counters with Plato. Outside, the stars emerge. It is not just about food. This evening is a ritual, a reinforcement of hierarchy, of values, of identity. To be rich in Rome meant more than comfort. It meant duty, patronage, display, and performance. Your host may own hundreds of slaves, vast tracts of land, ships in the harbor. But tonight, his true wealth is measured by your attention, by the laughter of his guests, by the quiet awe of those who stand in the shadows, watching. Eventually, the evening ends. You are escorted to the door, where your sandals are returned, your cloak draped gently over your shoulder. The city awaits below, but part of you lingers here, in the marble stillness of privilege. You descend into the night. The stars above the hills are steady. The air smells of pine, wax, and cooled stone. And as you walk, you carry with you, not just the memory of a meal but of a world where power dressed itself in where silence spoke volumes, where even a dinner was never just a dinner.